a British man and 5 men from Nicaragua were arrested aboard a luxury yacht from Jamaica when it was raided at sea off the coast of England, where police seized more than 2 tons of pressed cocaine. As a notable irony in this case, the $2 million yacht started life as a military vessel, serving as a Royal New Zealand Navy patrol ship. The mob reporter here with news of an enormous load of cocaine, snatched off the high seas, when it was almost at the end of a luxurious transatlantic crossing, undone by this summer's blockbuster undercover operation. Let me tell you about it. British police described it as a dramatic operation at sea. The boat was Jamaican-flagged and left a Caribbean port 18 days before it was intercepted in international waters, 80 miles off England's southwest coast. On September 9, 2021, it was boarded by officers with the UK Border Force and the National Crime Agency. 2 UK Border Force vessels were covertly monitoring and tracking the yacht in advance of the raid, and at the appointed time, they moved in, with a special team stopping and boarding the 37-meter-long boat. The coke was neatly stacked inside black waterproof bags. Here we see officers unpacking and logging the cargo inside one of the super yacht's living areas. Britain's National Crime Agency estimated the street value of the haul at 160 million British pounds. That's more than 220 million US dollars. The NCA said the load was destined for Britain for distribution across the country. This smuggling operation seems compromised from the start. British authorities were alerted to a Jamaica-based smuggling plot by Australian Federal Police, another information bomb from the explosive international joint probe with the FBI, when ANOM, an encrypted communications system, was distributed by undercover agents. An absurd number of criminals were compromised by that probe, while all of their calls and texts were really being read by police, which I tell you about in a video I'll link to here and down in the video's description. Among the trove of information gleaned in that sting that wrapped up in June, called Operation Ironside in Australia, was news of a plot by what was called a sophisticated transnational organized crime group. Given the timing of the operation, it's possible, perhaps even likely, that the communications that were intercepted involved arranging or buying the superyacht. Until this summer, the yacht was listed for sale. The Operation Ironside search warrants were unsealed June 8, 2021. The last sales listing I could find for the yacht was June 10th. You can see sales pitch materials for the vessel here. The seizure is the latest in the ship's interesting history. It is called the Kahu, a name that continues from when it was a military vessel. It has changed hands a few times over the years. The first was when the New Zealand Navy offloaded it. It used to look like this, sturdy and stoic in naval grey. Built in 1979 as a patrol boat, it was the last of its class to be decommissioned in 2009 and bought by the wealthy owner of a New Zealand super yacht shipyard, who rebuilt, repurposed, and refitted it as a long-range expedition yacht. It was lengthened by 30 feet and kitted out in plush accommodations for family travel and entertainment. It sleeps 12 guests in 6 bedrooms, including a master suite, along with rooms for a crew of 4. It was a personal project for the shipyard owner. The ship's owner at the time, Peter White Robinson, has been looking at police photos of the raid this week and told me his old yacht has hardly changed a bit between his relaunch and the cocaine interdiction, other than a new coat of paint on the hull. He told me his family left New Zealand in 2012 on the Kahu on a planned 2.5-year adventure voyage with their 2 young sons and another family. He gave me this photo of him and his wife from that trip. They worked their way across the Pacific Ocean, visiting numerous islands. They moored in Hawaii for a few months, and then pushed on to the west coast of Canada. After arriving in Canada a year later, his company fell into serious financial trouble. He ended the dream voyage there, moored his super yacht, and put it up for sale. That explains the Canadian flags in some of the sales photos from that period. Since then, it has been up for sale a few times and reflagged. When it was for sale in 2018, it was registered in St. Vincent and moored in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the United States. There are also online listings for chartering the Kahu. Perhaps it was even being rented at the time of the interdiction. In any event, it wasn't on a simple family adventure journey this week, police allege. 6 men were arrested on board, including a 32-year-old British man from Stockton-on-Tees in England's north. The rest are citizens of Nicaragua in Central America, although none of them has a typical Hispanic name. The youngest is 24 years old, the oldest 49. They were being held on suspicion of drug trafficking, pending an investigation. The yacht, some call it a superyacht, was escorted back to the UK mainland, moored at the port of Plymouth, where authorities did a deep rummage search and discovered the haul of coke, considered a Class A controlled drug in Britain. Plymouth, American viewers might realize, is the port where the Pilgrims left England in the 1600s to form the second colony in the New World, from which many of the Thanksgiving traditions have sprung. The capture of the Kahu and its large cargo will be cause for many to give thanks, but certainly not for everyone. Not for the 6 men found on board, and not for whoever it was who owns that yacht. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.